All right, we're gonna, as always, we start on time. Okay, I'm 2 minutes over, so this is not very SJ of me. Now, put it in the chat for me. What is your level of experience with Bitcoin? Just out of curiosity. Like, you know, a little bit, not much, none, zero, none. Okay, great. I know there's like, you know, Nikki and Ed could probably run this session tonight. Do we need to do some emotional work too, Ed? No, we'll leave that. Okay, good. Okay, good. A little bit, awesome. All right, so I know for the traders here, financial independence is the goal. Okay, for everyone else, I'm just putting you in that same basket tonight as well. Now, I'm going to run through a couple of rules that I just live by when it comes to finances. Okay, and then towards the second half, I'm going to go like 3 knuckles deep into Bitcoin. Okay, what it all is, all those things. So first off, we've got to get a bit of housekeeping out of the way. A couple of you, so let me just check who's on. Nadia, your crew's good to go. Awesome. If you have any questions, please, I'm actually going to ignore the chat unless I ask something tonight, because I've only got about an hour until rock session. So I'm going to go like the absolute clappers. Yeah, so if you have any questions, you either just write it down or leave it to the very end. And if we've got time, I will answer. If not, message me them and I'll answer them personally. Good to go? All right, cool. So financial freedom does not happen by default, right? And it's humans that actually get in the way of that. And there's that kind of break the magic formula for financial freedom, and that is the exponential business growth, but also compound interest. So if you want to reach financial freedom before you're dead, then it's going to be your mindset that's going to get you deep. All right, so the best way, I'm going to run through my rules, right? The best way that I have found to protect my financial mindset is these rules, okay? 1, learn about why the government can never default on its debt. Now, if you're in the Rebel Alliance, I'm going to teach you that, okay? That'll change everything about how you view recessions and economic downturns. The second one is money is created out of thin air by central banks. When that happens, that causes currency debasement. Write that word down, okay? Currency debasement will prevent financial freedom if you do not understand it. So study it, understand how it works. Once again, all of these subjects I'm going deep in the Rebel Alliance with, okay? There is a 1% chance a job will lead to financial freedom, okay? Global liquidity determines how fast asset prices will rise and fall. So you want to follow the rise and fall of liquidity to know when prices will go up so you can profit. Traders, you know that well and truly. You need to invest money every single week, right? If you're not building passive income, remember, what are you? You're someone else's passive income. Remember that, okay? I want you to read the book, The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. I need you to stop using debt to buy luxuries and use debt to acquire real estate. I need you to treat money like a game. I don't want you to obsess over it. I want you to have fun with it. Some days you win, other days you'll get an education. The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. I need you to choose a romantic partner who's not a giant fucking disaster. I'm just going to put that one out there, right? Marry the right person and money gets to be easier. It gets to be more fun, okay? I need you to watch your lifestyle creep like a fucking hawk, right? When income goes up, your expenses shouldn't match that. When interest rates can go up when you least expect them to, you always need to factor that into your expense management. Remember that, okay? You need to know exactly how much money is coming in and coming out every single month. So if you're one of my crew and you're not doing your bank statement audits, I will literally kick you up the ass. You're here for financial freedom. Do the thing that's going to give it to you. Okay. Like knowing your numbers helps you make better financial decisions, period. Okay. I want you to study the past markets of Bitcoin and Ethereum to see why they've been one of the best investments over the last 100 years. Okay, the rest is noise. I want you to decide what you'll do when you reach financial freedom, financial independence, because otherwise you're going to get bored and you're going to do stupid shit. Okay. Now, if you work a job, then I want you to go out to the marketplace and see if you can negotiate a raise. If you want to negotiate a raise, I need you to DM me because I can show you how to do that. Okay. Good old D just on this call here got a, can I say the number? $20,000 increase just from having a fucking conversation. Okay. And that's not her first. That's not her first. So I want you to go out, explore the market, see what things are going for. Yeah, high performance bonuses, all the things, right? If the answer is yes, amazing. If they don't, then go find a better job, right? I need you to understand that one day the US dollar won't be the most traded currency in the world. Okay, all superpowers are eventually dethroned, right? So you need to invest in assets that also aren't priced in US dollars. A little bit hard to do that at the moment, but we'll get there. When you ask someone for money, always follow it up, right? 99% of people don't do that. Follow up 10 fucking times if you have to. Patience pays, right? When investing money, make the minimum time frame to get a return on that 5 to 10 years. That's the minimum. Stop looking at it every 3 months. Stop looking at it every day. Okay. Buy stocks and hold. Tech stocks specifically. Become a business owner, either by starting a business or owning stocks. Now, I need you to remember that fortunes aren't built overnight. So if you're an investor, if you're a trader, you're here for the long game. Okay, I need you to know that the internet gives you access to some of the greatest financial leverage in history. Okay, can you imagine our ancestors back in the day out plowing the fucking fields, working their ass off, and here you are, clock off at fucking 5 and get home and watch Netflix? Come on. Your ancestors are turning over in their grave. Okay, they really, really, really are. What else can I tell you? Purchase experience instead of possessions. You're going to remember them a whole lot longer. You have to be willing to lose money to make money. Okay. Now that's going to fuck with someone's head in terms of scarcity. So I also need you to then remember that if the feds can print $9 trillion in a pandemic, you're fine. There is absolutely no shortage of money. Okay. In fact, I want you to go listen to the Rebel Alliance YouTube and actually go into that a little bit more in terms of the monetary system. Go listen to that. You'll learn a lot. I don't even care if you don't come into the Rebel Alliance. Netflix is costing you more than what? $22 a month. Okay. Because you're also paying for it with your time. And that time can be used for you studying to become financially free. Okay. Accepting poverty, accepting being broke is a lot harder than working your way to financial independence. Money is a psychological game. Learn about your mind, you'll get back your time. Okay. A salary is the highest risk of income source that there is. If you've got one source, you're one step away from poverty. I need you to remember that. Okay. Where someone sees problems, other people see opportunities. So you are either a problem creator or a problem solver. What are you? The latter is going to make you stupidly wealthy. Okay. Money is not evil. Working your entire life to be busy all the fucking time is evil. Okay. Lastly, I want you to stop using money to build a legacy when you're dead. People are so busy focusing on when they're dead. Okay. They just are. Use money while you're alive to be free. Okay. Reason I'm starting here is because I really, really, really hate vanilla money advice, right? There is so much of it on the internet. And if anyone who knows anything about finance, they honestly just become a parrot. You know, like if Warren Buffett, he's the OG, but if he says it, it must be great, right? If Wall Street sells it, must be a sure thing, right? But they are just some really true money beliefs that I hold very dearly, and they've gotten me very, 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 very far. Now, you all know that I'm basically retired in a way, like not from work, but from working a job or dealing with a boss or, you know, idiot corporations. That's a flex. I'm just going to say it. It's a fucking flex. Haven't had a job since 2020. Okay. Like Alex Hormozy, you guys know him, right? There's one thing that he said a little while ago, and he said the fact that you don't know how to make $1 million a year is costing you $1 million, right? Like what he's basically saying is he's saying that the focus should be to work out which resources are missing so you can then start to pay down this tax. Okay. Now, the internet has democratized information. You literally have zero excuses to not know how to build wealth, to not have multiple income streams. Like it's not privilege, it's not gender, it's not race, it's not your fucking postcode, right? It is your ability to be resourceful. That's what it is. That's the thing that's stopping you. It's your ability to be resourceful. Yeah, I'll post them in the Discord. So an example of resourcefulness, right? Like I'm pretty anti ChatGPT, being a writer, my husband being an artist, lots of musos around us. We just don't really vibe with it. But I'm seeing a lot of people take this whole ChatGPT thing so literally, and they're printing money with it. Like it's available to you. I'm stuck on fucking Mount SJ and I don't have the energy to spend on it, nor do I want to, but I also don't need to. I've found my money game, so I'm not going to start a ChatGPT game, but that's available to you. If you don't trade, you don't want to do anything, literally go get ChatGPT and fucking research. Okay. We can't live in the world of, I don't know how to do something anymore. That's no longer going to be a valid excuse. It's no longer an excuse for not knowing something, right? There's YouTube University. You can go and learn a lot of shit. Podcasts. Okay. You need to become a self-learner to then transform into a self-earner. Okay. You need to become a self-learner to become a self-earner. Now, the last couple of years, we've just come out of, a zero interest rate kind of paradigm, right? The last couple, like 3-4 years have really messed with our money minds. We had access to almost 0% interest. The Federal Reserve printed trillions of dollars at the click of a finger, right? Governments dropped fucking free money out of helicopters to make up for whatever it is that they did. Okay. All of that then led to an NFT boom. Okay. Tech stocks going fucking parabolic. Every man and his dog starting a podcast. TikTok creators, feet finders, for fuck's sake. You know how many girls are making fucking bank off their feet? You can do whatever you want, right? Secondhand cars are selling for more than new ones, right? There's software engineers with 4 jobs and 10 fucking side hustles. There's so many things that you can do, right? All of what's happened in the last 4 years, we're in this kind of like this creators economy. What are you doing with it? Right? You could literally throw money at stocks or crypto and get rich. Sometimes. Okay, I'm going to tell you why you don't though. Okay, if you talk to any boomers in the building, any boomers in the building, right? If you talk to any of those who lived through the 80s crash or the dot-com bubble, right? They'll tell you that the chicken always comes home to get slaughtered by the friendly local butcher. They will literally tell you that, okay? So it's trying to kind of shake off the delusion and the privilege. It's going to be really hard for us, for a lot of us, okay? But we're in the creator economy. We need to maximize that. Okay, so the hard truth about all of this is unless you study financial history, you're going to get fooled by fake bubbles. How many times have you heard in the last 2 years, we're in a recession, we're in a recession, the market downturn, the market's going to crash, housing market this, housing market that. Okay. What I know to be true, as much as I teach investing and have achieved financial independence through investing, I believe in working with the economy that we have now, but I know that we need to think about what is coming, right? And in my opinion, the baby boomer game is dead. Okay. And a lot of what I'm about to say tonight will probably annihilate. Is that the word? Annihilate? Did I say that right? Never mind. I usually say it like annihilate. I don't know which way it is. UK just announced we're in a recession. Exactly, right? Your brain's going to get fried tonight. So just keep an open mind. You'll have access to this recording. Come back to it. The reason I say the baby boomer way is dead thank you, Stu, is every financial guru under the sun, and they're very well-meaning, but it's also very out of date, right? The baby boomer game was to buy real estate, invest in the S&P 500, index funds, whatever, get a good income from an employer, okay? There's one very critical problem with that, and that is currency debasement, right? So countries like the US have devalued their currency by printing extra money out of nowhere. That has then led to inflation, right? The price tag you see on literally everything doesn't actually factor this in. Okay, so this means that real returns from money being invested are kind of hard to measure, right? It also means that a lot of these gurus are like the Ramses of the world are kind of plain wrong about how much they make, how much people can make, and the strategies used to make the money. So what also destroys the baby boomer investing thesis is salaries, right? 40 years ago, the average household income was like, what, 55K? Today it's like 70. So up 27% overall. People still feel poor, right? Now, if you invest in the typical index fund, you may make 7 to 8%, but that doesn't factor in taxes or currency debasement. So the real return is actually a lot lower. Then you add in inflation, okay, whatever else. So there's no way to fix stocks, currency debasement, or real estate. Okay, there's no way to do that. The way to get ahead of the curve is to understand new asset classes, right? So the two biggest things that you need to be focusing on is Web3 and exponential new age tech stocks. Okay, and yes, over the last couple of years, like 2 or so years, they've dropped a little bit, but once again, we're here for the long game. Okay, over 5+ years, these two types of assets will blow past index funds. They will blow past real estate. Okay, anything that's tied up your cash is probably not a good deal because you want to invest in these things. Like, it doesn't mean I'm not saying don't touch traditional investing, because like I said, I've coached you guys on that. It just means I don't want you to bet the farm on it like previous generations did. Okay, we're not doing that. We're not betting the farm. Okay, playing old money games is going to keep you further behind. Now, when you hear things like we're in a recession, right? People get really scared. But I'm going to tell you something. If you've studied the history, Great Depressions are one of the happiest times in history. Okay, so I want to turn this idea upside down for you. This is something in the book Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel wrote. He wrote that Great Depressions have produced some of the biggest breakthroughs in history, because without recessions, without depressions, we aren't motivated to get off our asses and do the fucking work. We're too comfortable. We're too safe. Okay, we would rather go to work and champion some social justice movement that we know nothing about than actually do the work. Okay, this is why CEOs of, say, like, just to talk about social justice fucking movements for a second, Coinbase CEOs, Shopify, they've actually banned those things from their companies, right? Because they're a distraction. Okay, a company can only have one mission. That's what we're doing here. Okay, companies have one mission, but recessions and depressions, they create stress. Stress then forces people to act out of survival. That action leads to problem solving. Okay, and that's how we get breakthroughs. That's how we get to create the happy times. Okay, so you want to use the down times to help you get motivated to build the good times, right? Because if you do that, you're going to make more than enough money to retire on a lot sooner than what you would the traditional route. Now, the greatest lie ever told about investing is, like, if you read any finance book, you'll be told the lie that you get rich from investing by index funds. Okay, does my head in. I personally don't know any mega wealthy and like friends, anyone who just bought index funds and got rich off that. Okay, but that is the advice given. This is the advice for average people who will likely get wealthy when they're 75. Now they're too old to enjoy their money. Okay, wealthy people get rich off portfolios that contain businesses, real estate, creating digital assets, and building their network. That's how you get wealthy. Okay, so I need you to stop falling for the index fund method. Invest in it for now. Yeah, I do, like I said. Okay, look, a friend of mine is an amateur investor, and every time we chat, he references, some event that is, unprecedented. Okay, we kind of live in those times now where that's a very common conversation. And the only reason every world event looks unique to him and how it affects him is because he hasn't studied history, right? Because when you do, you realize that a global bat pandemic, a war in Europe, supply chain issues, they're nothing new to us. They're nothing new to our world, right? So history may change, absolutely, but how humans behave throughout history never does, right? Our actions are predictable, and greed almost always it'll always enter the scene, okay? It'll always enter the scene. So study history to get rich from investing. Right now, you've all heard me say that I would love you to have a 6 to 12 month emergency fund sorted out ASAP. Okay. I've also said to never invest that. We're not investing our emergency fund. Sure, you can put it in a high interest account. You know, I like to hold 6 months in an account, 12 months in cash. Okay. Now, the investing gurus will say cash is trash. I kind of believe it because of the whole inflation, currency debasement thing, but at some point, cash is still king. It depends how you look at it. You know, holding cash through, say, a bullish market when shit's good, when shit's going up, if you're not a trader, okay? Like holding cash through that means you're going to miss out on the gains of assets, sure. But it also kind of feels like a bit of a loser strategy because you're focusing on all the gains that you're missing out on. This is where FOMO takes over. Okay. If you've got, say, a 2% return in a year when the stock market is up 12%, you'd think you'd lost 10%, right? The difference between the two numbers is in your head. The two numbers in your head is going to sound like a fucking Mack truck driving down your hallway. Okay. The thing that's missed here, though, is sure, in a bull market, in a bullish market, when everything's amazing, cash is crap. Okay. But when an unpredictable bearish market, a recession comes out of nowhere, that cash helps you from you selling your investments. The amount of people that I know have every single bit of cash money tied up in the stock market, and then when shits hit the fan, they have to sell everything. It's a horror story. It's a horror story. Okay. So what cash does, this is what I want you to flip your switch to. Cash gives you choices. Cash creates optionality. Cash is an insurance policy, right? Cash is a peace of mind in a global economic shitstorm. So that needs to be a priority of yours. Okay. Now, the risk with investing is obviously you can lose money. Okay. But you can lose, like in life, guys, you can lose everything because of a divorce, a lawsuit, freaking cancer diagnosis, right? The temptation is to focus on what you own. I don't. Okay. What I focus on is my monthly cash flow. Now, if I lose all my money, this actually won't matter because every month I have new money coming in through the door via investments. It wouldn't matter. Okay. If I lost my house, I'd still have money coming in, right? It's only when your assets get taken away and you don't have cash flow, that's when you're kind of up shit creek. Okay. So focus on cash flow because that's going to help you become financially stable, but also unbreakable. Okay. I have a lot of little annoying acquaintances that parade around saying things like, you know, I made 200% on this Amazon stock, or my house went up like 60%. And guys, we're not going to listen to these people, okay? Because what they forget, if they haven't studied what we know, is they forget inflation, right? And it determines the value of your money over time. So if you quote investment returns without adjusting for the fact that your money is worth less, then you're going to fool yourself into thinking you're a bit of a money genius, okay? These people also don't calculate taxes either, right? So it's really nice to make huge investing gains, but then Uncle Sam comes along, right? A big tax bill. I've learned that the hard way. I'm sure plenty of you have also learned that the hard way. And anyone can make money and then tell the tax man, I'm not fucking listening. Anyone can do that, right? Self-reporting. Love that little one. How funny is that? Like our tax system is self-reporting. I just actually find that mind-blowing in business. I find it mind-blowing. But yeah, the only way to fix the tax challenge is to learn about tax efficiency. Okay. You'll likely need a company or a trust to invest in the markets. That's what I and a lot of our crew in Tradehouse have done, setting up I personally am very asset rich, yet I personally own nothing. Everything is not in my name. And that's on purpose. Everything is owned in trust or company. So if you are an investor, I wish. Like next session, I'm in jail. That would be funny. But yeah, so think about that as well. When you do get heavily into investing, go seek someone who is in the know to set you up with companies, trusts, all that type of stuff. The less you have in your name, the better. Okay. Now, the money game is all about outperforming the debasement of currency. So let me just remind you quickly, if you've forgotten what it is. Governments and central banks create money out of thin air. Okay, they can do it whenever they want. It is used to fund wars, right? It is used to pay the harsh realities of what the last couple of years have been when everything shut down, right? When they create money out of nowhere, it devalues any money that you have, right? This is what currency debasement is called. So $1 today is worth much less in the future. And a little bit of homework that you can do, you can go to Google and type in, just for you, so you can see this for yourself. What was $100 in 1990 worth today? Just go and understand that to see how much your money doesn't actually get you. If you invest, so once again, guys, hold your questions. I'll answer at the end. I just want to keep going. If you just invest in stocks, bonds, safe real estate, then you won't probably outperform debasement of our currency. Okay, you won't do that. The only way to do that is to own tech stocks and crypto over a long period of time to make up for the performance gap. Now, most people don't really have a clue about this. That's why we're here tonight. So, most their investing returns create this like fake dopamine spike that really just it's underperforming in disguise, basically. Now, I'm going to keep referencing The Psychology of Money because it's a very good book, but I'm not going to overquote it. But in this book, he does actually say a very powerful thing. And he says, those who make money investing have trained their psychology to do so. Okay, so I just want to share my screen for a quick sec. Can you see this diagram? Cool. So let's just take a look at this for a second. This green and gray and yellow thing, right? The left side is a bull market. The right side is a bear market. Now, if your investor psychology is left unchecked, you're likely to think either of these two thoughts, right? One, I can't wait for a pullback, or two, it's too risky to invest now. But both will cause you to miss life-changing opportunities, and these are just our default thoughts that are given to us through human evolution. Okay, very hard to override. Another example, this one here. Okay, this is the psychology cheat sheet from Wall Street. This is how, when we say in trading, you were trading not the charts, right? But you were trading your psychology. You were trading what makes this market volatile is human emotion. The average person coming into trading and investing is not the most emotionally intelligent person, and they're doing things out of fear and FOMO. Here's what you all experience. Exactly, Ed. Okay, so this chart is the story of the financial markets, right? It's repeated all over human history, right? The best psychology for when markets are down is the bear market. Bear is down, by the way, if you're not a trader. The bear market is the opportunity to buy a little bit of my freedom at a 20% discount. Okay, that's basically what that means. Now, shut that down. Okay, now let's talk about the powerful concept of liquidity. Now, most people don't know the difference between liquid and liquidity, right? I never used to either. Once again, guys, if you think you're sitting here and you're like, this is so confusing, this is overwhelming, I once knew nothing, but I became a resourceful human being and studied. Remember, I don't know how, does not fly around me. Find a way to figure this out. Okay. Now, liquidity is how easy it is to turn an asset back into cash. So liquid assets are hard to cash in. Real estate businesses, machinery, stock options, all the things. But liquid assets, liquid assets, I'm confusing myself. Liquid assets are easy to turn into cash, such as stocks, crypto, gold, and cash. Okay. Now, when bad times strike, everyone races for the emergency exit, don't they? Okay. And that's actually the hardest time. It's one of the hardest times there is to cash in illiquid assets. Okay. It's very complex and it can take a lot of time. So as a result, the drop in value of your asset is huge. Okay, huge, huge, huge. Think anyone who, even NFTs. I got rolled with NFTs, by the way, absolutely rolled. I don't even want to talk about the amount, but that's okay. We've recovered. Now, that's a bit of psych out of the way. Let's talk about crypto, Bitcoin specifically. Okay, now, guys, crypto has been around since 2008, right? And the unpaid skeptics, they're nothing new, right? They trash every new tech because it's easier to do that than it is to put the time in to understand, okay? And what you'll find, and this could be you as well, people will often reject unfamiliar concepts primarily due to their ego acting as a barrier to learning, right? So the ego, which functions as a self-identity protector, it prefers certainty, right? It loves the comfort zone. So God forbid learning about something like this, right? So when we're faced with new and when we're faced with complex ideas, ego is going to perceive them as a threat, which is going to lead to a defensive reaction where rejection serves as the mechanism to maintain your perceived competence and control. Okay, this resistance to the unknown is then fueled by a fear, right? A fear of maybe appearing ignorant or having your beliefs challenged. This then manifests as skepticism and just outright dismissal. That's how that manifests. And that's not new, okay? But acknowledging this is going to require admitting that you've got some gaps in your knowledge, okay? And it's actually okay to not know. But what's not okay is to just dismiss something and disregard something that could absolutely change your life because you don't know. Okay, now overcoming this ego's-driven resistance, what I need from you guys is curiosity and an open mind. That's what I need from you. That's all I need. Okay, and by admitting to not know everything about something and be willing to not just go into overwhelm, oh, this is confusing, so many words, let's not go there either, right? If you can choose to just sit here, listen, be open, write down some words that you don't know. Like how I learned this is I watched all these people, I went on to all these calls, I just wrote down words. I'm like, okay, blockchain, what the fuck does that mean? I'm going to go research that later. Just write shit down, then go research, okay? Now, admitting you don't know, admitting not knowing everything and be willing to explore new ideas, this is where you get to break free from the confines of your ego, and this is what's going to actually open you up to knowledge. Now, with the whole skeptic thing, people are always like, it's too volatile, whatever else. Let me tell you something, crypto always makes a comeback. Okay, your account may not because you didn't know what you're doing, but crypto does. Okay, who here's been burned by crypto? Maybe you bought in a higher high. Yeah, I think we've all done that. Yeah, so every scams, is that where you guys got rolled with scams? Not necessarily crypto and Bitcoin itself, but was it those things? Yikes. Okay. So the reason I wanted to talk about this now, guys, is because every 4 years, Bitcoin undergoes a halving event. Okay. And halving event is basically where the reward for mining Bitcoin is cut in half. So this rule is built into Bitcoin's code and it can never be altered, right? So miners, not little coal miners, little picks, like that's literally what I thought when I first heard miners. I'm like, where are they mining? They're just guys on their computers, okay? They're just miners using their computers to a secure network. And they earn fewer Bitcoins after each halving, okay? Now, this process is designed to decrease the number of new Bitcoins being created, making them more scarce, therefore more valuable. So what I want you to first write down is Bitcoin halving. I'm going to leave that in your capable hands to go research. I need you to get some money together. You don't have to own a full Bitcoin, by the way. I'll talk about this later, but get some money together because come April, May, I want you to buy some. I don't care if you do, but I want you to buy some, and it's going to be a great time. Okay. Now, this, I guess historically, these halvings, once again, they happen every 4 years, right? The halving has led to a significant increase in Bitcoin's price. So what basically happens is, as investors, we can anticipate the reduced supply and then buy in advance, hoping to profit, right? So the price increase just boosts the value of other cryptos as well. Other cryptos with real world application. Now, I don't fuck around with any pump and dump stuff. And if you are smart and if you're not a trader, I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either. Okay. If you are a trader, sure, you can trade some things, but 63 days exactly. So people who are in the know about this, we see this event as a highly predictable opportunity for investment gains. Okay. Now, I'm not saying 50% increase, right? I'm not even saying 30, like a 300%. That's optimistic, like 300%. No, okay, we're not doing that. But a moderate increase, 25, 30, 40% in prices is very common. Okay. So I want you to research Bitcoin halving. I want you to understand it. And I want you to consider being a part of it. Okay. Consider being a part of it and do it quick because, like I said, April, May, the date, Ed, the date is like never known, is it? It's just around that time. Now, another reason why you want to be focusing on Bitcoin as well is BlackRock is one of the biggest Wall Street firms in the world. Okay. And Bloomberg, it's a financial reporting type thing, basically predicts that BlackRock's assets will exceed 15 trillion in 5 years, based upon time on current, oh my God, 15 trillion in 5 years based upon the current growth. I'm fucking tongue twisted. Okay. Now, when BlackRock makes moves, pay attention. Pay attention. Okay. Now, a lot of people aren't noticing what's going on. We've got the RBA, Reserve Bank of Australia. Everyone's talking about digital coins, all these things, right? Why are you not thinking about it? Right. So BlackRock has launched a Bitcoin ETF. And what that's going to do is that will allow more retail and more institutional investors to enter the Bitcoin market. So the CEO of that, Larry Fink, he is showing up over all these mainstream media things, and he's basically like the preacher for Bitcoin. He's preaching the Bitcoin gospel, right? And he's not doing it for fun or as an experiment. He knows that Bitcoin has value and he sees it as a way for his firm to make money. So if Larry keeps running his mouth about Bitcoin, please listen. Okay. It wouldn't surprise me if this like then triggers another bull run as well. But basically, BlackRock's engagement in this whole area signifies a really, I guess, significant and important step towards mainstream acceptance of crypto, right? So I guess the final thing, well, I'll answer this question, Beck. You're not going to buy Bitcoin from anyone except an exchange, period. You're not, if I DM you all my fake accounts, I am the scammer here, guys, when you think about it. All my fake accounts will message you about crypto. Please do not ever do that. You will only ever buy your Bitcoin and crypto off an exchange. If someone DMs you, block them. That's what you're doing. That's how you know if it's a scam. You're not fucking buying it from anyone, right? Now, an important thing here is I mentioned at the beginning, about how, what did I say? How most investments are backed by US dollar, okay? Bitcoin is still, crypto in general is still tied to the global economy, okay? So all financial assets, crypto, all of them are tied to the global economy. So when interest rates rise high and central banks, I don't know, stop creating money out of thin air to pay for fucking bat viruses and banking collapse, this is when the markets are kind of cool, right? People and institutions take fewer risks when this happens. So the lessons here are simple. Pay attention to crypto. Don't ignore the Bitcoin halving. And I want you to dare to be an investor in the movement, even with a tiny percent of your money. Okay, so I guess with that, just to also frame this, I actually don't care if you buy it or not, right? This call is not for me to convince you to buy it. I don't care if you do. My goal is to make sure you understand Bitcoin and see how many problems it can solve, right? The only way to do that is to study it. Okay, I have assets in every single class, but I am here to invest for the current economy, but I'm also here to invest for the rapidly changing economy. And if people want to reach their goals quicker, financial independence, retire, whatever, then this is a way. Okay, but remember, people will reject what they don't understand. I personally think, one Bitcoin is worth like infinite USD, right? But people will literally continue to ignore Bitcoin until it's 1 million. And then the people who have it, they're going to be crying poor saying they were just lucky. No, they were informed, just like you guys are if you're on this call, and can be if you put the work in. Now, I don't know a single person who truly understands Bitcoin that hasn't bought it, right? There's lots of myths about it that can be easily debunked. And my favorite one is always, what if the internet gets shut down? It's like, then everything will. Your bank will already, right? Everything will. That's not a thing, right? Now, if you don't understand it, if you don't understand Bitcoin, you won't be able to think how it can help you, right? And most people think it's a security like a stock, okay? And they reject the idea of a censorship resistance, decentralized money before they even understand it. But fuck, it's really cool, right? They think it can be manipulated. They think it can be shut down. It's not. Bitcoin's utility is in transferring, storing, and accounting for value without a trusted third party. Okay, so let's get into it all. So I'll go over basically what is it, history, creation, problem it solves, how it works. And then I'll kind of explain it how Bitcoin and traditional money. The next part, what I will do is I'll just give you guys resources that you can research in your own time on like how to set up storage, buying it, security, whatever else. Now, I will just say this, which is very important, just in case I forget to say it. Some people buy crypto, say on Kraken or Coinbase or whatever exchange, and they leave it on there. We're not going to do that. I need you to get a ledger. I need you to get a cold wallet, and you're going to like think of it as like a hard drive. Like it's such a mind fuck, this whole crypto world. It actually is. It really, really, really is. So I want you to, yeah, that is the thing. That is the thing, Nadia. Lose that and your code and you're fucking doomed. Even if it's small amount off the exchange, off the exchange. Okay, so reason I'm not going to go into all of that is one time, but also I really don't want to overwhelm you guys as much as I probably already have. So tonight is just really about the what and the why. Okay, other sessions in Tradehouse and in Rebel Alliance, we're going to go deeper into this again. So the story of Bitcoin, okay, 2008, right, global financial crisis. Like it was a period that was marked by widespread economic instability. Okay. This is where I guess maybe the first part of distrust came for traditional financial institutions, right? But it wasn't against kind of the guy who created it. His name was Satoshi Nakamoto, right? And how it came about is he published a white paper titled Bitcoin. And you can write, we need to write this down. Write down white paper. I'm just going to literally hide the chat because you guys are going bonkers and distracting me. Write down white paper titled Bitcoin, and it'll just come up in Google, but a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. Go research that. This was published on October 31st, 2008. And it basically, this like seminal document just laid out the groundwork for what could become the first decentralized crypto. And what this white paper proposed was a system that could facilitate online payments directly from one person to another without a financial institution, without government involvement, without the fucking ATO, all these things, right? So this was obviously revolutionary back then because prior to Bitcoin, digital money transactions, remember, digital money is not new. People think digital money is only crypto. Digital money's been around for donkey's years, decades, right? Digital money transactions required a central authority to basically prevent the problem of double spending. Okay, and double spending is basically where a single token could be spent more than once. Now, Satoshi's white paper basically outlined a decentralized solution to this problem, okay? So I guess the key components of this white paper in Satoshi's vision: decentralized financial system. Okay, so Bitcoin was conceived as an alternative to centralized banking, right? It was a way to offer, it was offering a way to transfer value that didn't rely on the central authorities. Okay, so its decentralized nature, I guess, means no single entity controls the Bitcoin network. That means that it's going to provide a level of security, transparency, and I guess resilience that our traditional financial systems don't actually provide. Okay. Now, this white paper basically proposed a system that allowed online payments to be sent directly from one person to another without a bank. That's basically it. Okay. The solution to it was the double spend. So one of the major innovations that was presented in the white paper is the solution to the double spending. So in digital systems, there's a risk that a single digital token could be copied and spent more than once, right? But the white paper introduces this distributed ledger technology, which is known as the blockchain. Okay. This basically ensures that each coin is unique, cannot be duplicated more than once. Okay, so that's really, really cool. So just to sum that up, decentralized, no singular entity controlling everything, helped with the double spend. Now, with the blockchain technology, okay, write down blockchain tech, go read about it. The white paper basically describes how transactions are grouped into blocks, right? And these blocks are linked together to form a chain, hence blockchain, right? And each of these blocks contains a cryptographic hash of the previous block, which is then and I'm probably fucking confusing you now, creating basically a secure record of all the transactions. Okay. Now, then there's mining as well. And I'm not going to go into that because that's going to be too confusing and that's not my forte. Mining is not my jam. So I'm not going to talk about it. You can go research that. I talk about what I know. So I guess Satoshi, right? His vision for Bitcoin wasn't just a technical thing, but also somewhat philosophical, right? Bitcoin was designed to provide financial freedom and privacy, right? It's there to empower people by giving them control over their own money in a way that's not possible with traditional currencies in our traditional system. Okay. Now, I guess in creating Bitcoin, this is where Satoshi introduced the world to a new form of money that was digital, decentralized, and just so different from anything that had ever come before. Okay. So it was just this birth of a new currency, right? But I guess the inception of a technological and financial revolution, this is still evolving, right? But it's still influencing our world today. Now, to understand the basics of it, okay, like decentralization. So in the world of Bitcoin, decentralization is a core principle that sets apart from traditional currencies that are controlled by central banks and governments. So I want you to imagine a network where no single entity has the power over the entire system, right? This is what decentralization in Bitcoin means, right? So instead of having a central point of control, Bitcoin operates on a global network of computers. This is referred to as nodes, okay? They are the thing that are basically collectively managing the system. So this structure makes Bitcoin incredibly resistant to censorship, and I guess very immune to the influence of any central authority. Now, the reason why this was revolutionary, I guess, is because today, right, our system, traditional financial systems, relies on banks and other institutions to, I guess, process transactions, right, to keep all the records, to enforce the rules. But Bitcoin, on the other hand, it distributes these responsibilities across its entire network, which makes each participant in the network, right, they have a copy of this transaction ledger, and transactions are verified by consensus, like this little agreement amongst all the participants. So That's really cool. But the blockchain tech, right? So at the heart of Bitcoin's decentralization is the blockchain technology. So once again, I'm just going to like do a little visual. I want you to imagine a chain where each link represents a block of transactions, okay? And these links are connected in a linear chronological order, right? So the blockchain is essentially a public ledger that records every single Bitcoin transaction ever made. Okay. Now, this ledger is maintained by the collective of every one of the network's participants, not by one singular authority. Very, very, very cool. Now, let's talk about the problem that Bitcoin solves. Once again, the double spend. So just to simplify that again for you, because I may not have been clear before, I want you to imagine you have a $10 bill, right? And once you spend it, say buying a coffee, you no longer have that $10 bill to spend again, right? Like it's pretty straightforward with physical money, but digital money presents a different kind of challenge, right? How do you ensure that a digital dollar isn't copied and spent more than once? This is known as the double spend problem. So before Bitcoin, digital currencies struggled with this issue because digital information can be duplicated. That was the problem. So Bitcoin solves the double spend problem through its blockchain technology. So every transaction, once again, this is how it does it. Every transaction made with Bitcoin is recorded on a public ledger. Anyone can see that. Transparency. Okay. And this ledger is constantly updated, it's constantly verified by this little network of computers all around the world. So when a Bitcoin is spent, the network notes this transaction on the ledger. And since everyone has access to this ledger and it's updated in real time, it's virtually impossible to spend the same Bitcoin twice. So this tech basically just ensures that Bitcoin is unique. It can only be spent once, which is just bringing, I guess, the simplicity of physical cash transactions to the digital world. Now, another problem that it solves is financial sovereignty. Okay, financial sovereignty. Now, what this means is it's having complete control over your money. Now, obviously, in traditional banking systems, I don't know if anyone here has tried to go get a lump sum of money out lately. How's that gone for you? Stu's like, it hasn't gone. You can't, right? Even if you go deposit money, they question you. Where did this money come from? It's like, I sold my bike. Get over it. It's like $100 trying to deposit. It would literally probably do that soon. But basically, financial sovereignty means having control over your money. Whereas traditional banking systems, your money is held by the banks, financial institutions, whatever, and you need to trust them to manage it properly. Okay. Now, in the Rebel Alliance, I'm going to be teaching you about the financial system. Where does your money go when you put it in the bank? Can anyone tell me that? Where does it go? Do you think it's there just waiting for you? It's not. Okay, it's not there. It's not there. Like whenever someone goes to get a loan, do you think that's pre-existent money? No, they just fucking type some shit into a keyboard and new money is printed. Interesting, Cassie. Yeah. So financial sovereignty is really great, right? If you think about, how about in Canada, all those truckies that got their bank accounts frozen? Fucking nuts, right? These institutions have the power to freeze your accounts. Like how I think, just going to go rabbit hole for a sec, how I see the world going, like say, you know, Elon Musk talks about it all the time. He talks about like universal basic income, things like that. How I see, this is not fact, by the way, this is literally a story made up in my head, so don't grab onto this too closely, too tightly. How I see this going is, say they decide to, let's just play with the story of vaccines again, right? And they decide to make everyone get the shot, and if you don't, they then cut off your money supply. That's kind of how I see this shit going. That's probably not as made up as I thought. Absolutely. Yeah. I have, like I said, 6 months in the bank and I have 12 months in cash. And say, I'll answer those later. I'm going to get distracted. What was I saying? Yeah, these institutions can freeze your money, fees, whatever. Okay. They could even experience, say we have a cyber attack. Imagine if you had all your money in a bank and you had a cyber attack and now all your money's gone. Oh, sorry. Don't know what happened. Here's a solution. Here's some universal basic income. Here's your pocket money. Like that, I don't know. That's could be what they do. Stu's agreeing. So Bitcoin, yeah, Hextet, see y'all. Bitcoin offers a really great alternative by providing that financial sovereignty to people that have it. Okay, because when you own Bitcoin, you get to control your funds through your keys, right? Your keys are a big long little number, right? And it's basically a digital signature that proves you're the owner. Okay. There's a saying in the crypto world, not your keys, not your coins, or whatever it is. I think I just made that up. Something like that. I don't even know. Not your keys, not your coins, but we'll roll with that. Okay. Nadia, don't lose your keys. Okay. Now, so there's no need for a bank or a third party to manage. I can transfer it to Matt like now. No one would even fucking know. I could even like employ Matt and pay Matt in Bitcoin if I wanted to. See you later, Uncle Sam. I don't know, maybe he could track that too. Who fucking knows? But you can basically just send Bitcoin directly to anyone in the world anytime. In fact, that how cool Bitcoin is there's this little, I think it's Peru, somewhere in South America, right? There is one of the most poverty-stricken, tiny little towns in South America, right? People go there to surf. Okay. It's South America because I'm pretty sure they use US dollars. Maybe Venezuela, I'm not sure. Uh, and basically there's little huts there. They're known for their street food and their waves. Okay. They're the vendors there that make the little fucking, I don't know, hot dogs. I don't know what they make, whatever street food they make. Literally, you buy it in Bitcoin, no cash. This tiny, I'll find the link and I'll send it to you. I'll put it in the Discord. Little shindig in the most poverty-stricken town, Bitcoin. That's how they accept their payments. Absolutely mental. Okay. Now, I guess like to get back on track, like this level of control, this autonomy, that's revolutionary, right? But especially for people who may not have access, like I was just saying, to the people in South America, may not have access to traditional banking services, right? Even just for people who want more privacy and control over it. So, a significant portion of the world, our population is unbanked. It's unbanked or underbanked, right? Meaning they don't have access to traditional banking services. Is probably why this little hut went for Bitcoin. Okay. And that's due to various reasons, remote living, whatever it is. Okay. But Bitcoin offers a solution to that problem by providing a financial system that is open and accessible to anyone with an internet connection. Okay. So with Bitcoin, all you need to participate in the whole global economy is a smartphone, computer, internet connection. Okay, obviously some money to buy stuff. You need that too. But there's no need for a physical bank or a credit card check. Visa has approved Bitcoin. Like, let me actually just look up just quickly. Ferrari, I'm pretty sure, has approved Bitcoin. Like when I was in Europe, there was a fucking Bitcoin convention. Just nuts. Anyway, I can't find it, but just go look up what companies have approved it for payment. Okay. Now that's also really cool. Okay. You don't need to go down the traditional route. It's being so widely accepted, which means you need to be paying attention. Okay. So I guess in summary of all of that, Bitcoin is just addressing a lot of critical issues that's faced by the traditional system that exists, right? It solves double spending. It ensures financial sovereignty. It promotes accessibility and inclusion. Okay, so let me just loop this up. how Bitcoin works. So let's break it down again really simply. 3 concepts: blockchain technology, public and private keys, decentralization. 3 words. I want you to write them down. Understanding those 3 basic words is going to help you grasp the essence of Bitcoin without getting overwhelmed. I'm going to say it again: blockchain tech, public and private keys, decentralization. Okay, so just to simplify blockchain again for you, I just want you to imagine a digital notebook that everyone can see, but no one can erase or rewrite, right? This notebook then contains pages, which are the blocks, where every single time someone sends or receives Bitcoin, it's written down. Okay, so each page once filled, each block once filled, is then attached to the next page, which is then creating this chain. Now, this blockchain is stored across many computers around the world, making it secure, basically impossible to hack or cheat, right? Because everyone can see the transactions, which means only one Bitcoin or Bitcoin is getting spent once. Now, public and private keys. When you use Bitcoin, you have a wallet, and your wallet contains a digital keychain with 2 types of keys: a public key and a private key. Now, I want you to think of your public key as your mailbox address that you can share with other people so they can send you Bitcoin, right? So your public key is your address. It's your mailbox address. People can send you presents. People can send you Bitcoin presents. Your private key, that's the key to the mailbox. That's how you access it. So if I wanted to send some Bitcoin to Bianca, I would need her public wallet address, right? For Bianca to then access the money I've sent her, she would need her private key. That's how they work, okay? And only you should have access to that, because then it allows you to open your mailbox and send Bitcoin to others. But keeping your private key safe is crucial, okay? Like if you have a will, probably put it in there. Because if you die, no one can access it. So that's another thing to consider. If you have investments like Bitcoin and crypto, you need to put that data in your will. Otherwise, you're just going to have all this stuff and no one can access it, because if it's not you, then it's no one. Okay. Now, to break down what makes Bitcoin decentralized, unlike traditional money, which is controlled by the banks and the governments, Bitcoin doesn't have that. Okay. Instead, it operates on a network of computers that is spread across the globe, right? These computers work together to conform and basically record all of Bitcoin's transactions on the little blockchain. Okay. So think of it, it's like a community garden. It's a community garden, right? Where everyone helps out, everyone has a say rather than just one person owning it. Okay. So this decentralization is what makes Bitcoin so unique. It gives it its strength because it relies on the collective agreement. Okay. So in summary of that, Bitcoin uses blockchain, not one singular person, group. In summary, Bitcoin uses blockchain tech to securely record transactions, relies on public and private keys to keep your transactions secure. It is decentralized, meaning it operates across a global network without a central authority. Those very important. That's one in the chat if that simplified a couple of things. Okay. Now, when it comes to Bitcoin versus traditional money, right? When we talk about Bitcoin and traditional money, known as fiat, we're comparing a digital, decentralized money with the money that is issued by the governments, like dollars, euros, pounds. Okay, just including everyone on here. Now, so again, let's break down the key differences, the advantages, but also like there are limitations to Bitcoin too. I'm not saying it's like perfect. It's not perfect, right? But if we think about the differences between Bitcoin and fiat, right? Creation and control. So governments, central banks, they issue fiat currencies and they control their supply. Whereas Bitcoin isn't controlled by any single entity. It is created through a process called mining. So I want you to write down Bitcoin mining and go and understand that, which basically anyone with the necessary hardware, like not anyone can just do it. You need hardware and software. You can participate in that. Okay. Now, storage and transaction. So traditional money can be stored in banks, transacted through banking systems, and cash. Bitcoin is stored in digital wallets, not on an exchange. Okay. And it is transacted over time using the internet, using the technology called blockchain. What else? Just the fact that I guess it's anonymous and transparent, right? Transactions with fiat currency can be private, especially when using cash, right? But Bitcoin transactions are recorded on a public ledger, which makes it transparent. So yeah, there's that. Now, advantages of Bitcoin, we're about to be done, according to my notes over here. Obviously, decentralization, accessibility, lower transaction fees, security and control. Limitations, right? You do need an exit plan. So my personal exit plan is I don't plan on using any of my Bitcoin until probably another 2 to 3 halvings. So once again, long game, 10, 12 years. That's my plan. Okay. Now, I have lost a lot of money in crypto because I didn't actually understand the right times to buy. Okay. Now, Bitcoin is a bit of a tricky one because it's just like it can go up, whatever else, it can go up, 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 and then you're like, oh, fuck it, keep going up. But remember, what goes up will come down. And if you're a trader, hold your questions, Adam. For a trader, you know, that would be the equivalent of me buying in like a high and then me getting liquidated, because what happens after a high? We either break structure or we have a fucking high low. Okay, see ya. Lots of money gone. So there's the volatility, which makes it risky. So you're not going to invest money you can't afford to lose, ever, right? I'd say that would be the main thing. Yeah, that would be my biggest downfall. Now, like I said earlier, some of the most dumbest things that I have heard with Bitcoin, with people who don't understand it, is like, they say power grids could be taken down, which means the internet won't exist. Guys, I want you to consider what 99% of your day-to-day transactions look like, and it's done using what? Tell me in the chat. What is it done? What is it using? In ding dong, exactly, right? Your phone, apps, internet. Where do you keep most of your money? Probably in a bank account. So if the power grid went out, I am like 300% sure, I'm 300% certain that your money in your bank account also won't be accessible. So that's a silly thing to say. So banks will go down, social media will go down, hospitals, groceries, every shop, right? Unless you're a fucking lemonade stand, like you're good. But we're not that, okay? So almost everything around us relies on electricity. So yes, they will turn it back on. They cannot turn it back on because the mayhem that it would create. So I guess, guys, you know, during the next several months, I know for fact so many lives will be changed by Bitcoin. Maybe not immediately, but 10 years time, yeah. Right? I want you to keep your emotions and psychology in check, because the adrenaline that you can feel if you're not a trader, you know, if you are a trader, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not a trader, the adrenaline that you can feel when you're new will be like anything you've ever experienced. You know, Bitcoin can go up a lot, right? But it's going to be a bumpy fucking road to get there. You need to understand that the markets don't move just up, right? They go up, they go down, they go up, they go down, but your down is generally going to be higher than the last down if we're bullish. If we're bearish, different story, okay? Now, when it comes to how much you can own, the answer to that is you don't have to buy one Bitcoin. right? A single Bitcoin is divisible into 100 million smaller units known as Satoshis, just like a $10 note can be divided into smaller fractions of that money too, right? So there are like 100 million Satoshis in one Bitcoin. So you don't have to buy one Bitcoin. You can buy a fraction of one. This is what makes it accessible. So if you've got $2,000, amazing. If you've got $1,000, amazing, right? My goal every single week, every time I pay myself, I also buy more. Okay. This makes it accessible to more people, and it allows you to invest and transact with an amount that fits your budget. Okay. Bitcoin will eventually probably go parabolic, right? I feel like everything in 2024 is shaping up to be a very exciting year for this space. The price will go up. There's going to be lots of dips along the way. Okay. Yes, dollar cost averaging. Absolutely. That's what I do every week. So like your chance to accumulate before it goes up is probably, I'm just going to put it out there and say it's running out. So I need you to take this seriously in the next couple of months. And what you do from here on out will determine if your Bitcoin story has a happy ending or not. Basically. Okay. Now, just to scroll up, Adam, let me just answer this. And then we've got to go because Rock has a call. And I don't want you guys to miss this session. So if I'm getting your question right, you're correct in noting that Bitcoin's value is not backed by a physical asset or a tangible measure of worth, right? Just like say, gold or just gold, right? Unlike traditional currencies issued by government, so fiat currencies, they may be backed by the government's ability to tax its citizens by, or by the reserves of commodities like gold. But Bitcoin's value is derived from a whole other things. It's supply and demand, right? This is business 101. The most fundamental factor affecting Bitcoin's value is supply and demand in the market. So Bitcoin has a capped supply of 21 million coins, making it a deflationary asset by design. Okay, so this limited supply combined with an increasing demand, especially from investors looking for alternative assets, that is going to be the thing that drives its price. Okay, now let me know if that answers your question. So, okay, yeah, you can go, yeah, it depends on your country. If you go, I'll post it in Discord, Cassie, and Nadia, I'll post it in your group as well. But yeah, like I guess another thing with its value is perceived value, right? Like, so similar to gold, Bitcoin is seen by some as a store of value, right? So it's an asset that can hold its value over time. And because of its decentralized nature, the security provided by a blockchain tech and the resistance to, I guess, censorship, that gives its perceived value as gold, right? It's also got utility, it's got cost of production, all these things. How are we feeling? Are we good? Drop it in the chat. I'm conscious of time. Please send me questions if you have any. Is anyone like curious? Thank you, Nadia. Is anyone overwhelmed? Is anyone confused? Like, be honest. And my inbox is open for the next 48 hours only. I'm putting a cap on this because I don't have all day to fucking talk to everyone about it. In the Discord, if you're in Tradehouse Australia, please just write in the Discord so I can collectively answer. And same with Nadia's group as well. You can just post in your circle and I will answer on the thread. Okay. If you have any personal questions, just message me. Confused but keen. Yeah, cool. Awesome, guys. Well, I really appreciate your time. I have loved being here. And once again, in Rebel Alliance, more of this to come to make it I'm trying to make it digestible for you. I will post resources, yes. And so, yeah, have fun learning. Remember, everything's hard and confusing until it's not. Yeah, I'd love you too, Ed, for sure. Yeah, everything's hard until it's not. But yeah, just get stuck into learning. Don't go into overwhelm. There's no need to do that. Just put some pocket money away for the next 2 months. Yeah, cool. Keep an eye out. Guys, I'll post a recording tomorrow. And yeah, message me if you have any questions. Okay. Ciao.